Good afternoon, students. Hope you all are safe at home. Let's start today with our new topic of English prose. Let's recap. Last time we have done the topic at the bottom of the ocean. I hope you all have understood that topic very well. Today, let's start with the new story of a wooden puppet whose name is Pinocchio. Now, we will learn the details of the wooden puppet Pinocchio in the story. So students, I am narrating you all the story. Listen carefully, all of you. Let's start the story now. Once upon a time, there was a piece of wood in the shop of a carpenter. The carpenter, whenever put his tools to the block to cut it or carve it or to scrap it. Now, here carve it means to make something new out of a wood or a stone by cutting carefully into it. I repeat again, the meaning of carve is to make something new out of a wood or a stone by cutting carefully into it. Now, what do you mean by scrap? Scrap means to remove an unwanted covering or a top layer from something. I repeat again, the meaning of scrap means to remove an unwanted covering or a top layer from something. Okay? The wood used to begin to talk, that is hurting, so don't break me please, and says it tickles. Then the neighbor of a carpenter, Geppetto, came and asked for a piece of wood. Geppetto wanted to make a wooden puppet that could run, jump and could make its own way round in the world. So the carpenter readily gave the piece of wood to the Geppetto. Geppetto brought the piece home and carved it into a puppet. As Geppetto had no family, so he considered Puppet as his son and named him Pinocchio. But Pinocchio was a naughty puppet. As Geppetto taught him to walk, he ran out of the hut. He ran so fast that Geppetto could not catch him. Then a policeman finally caught him and brought him back to the Geppetto. Pinocchio was a naughty puppet. Then too Geppetto loved him dearly that he can do anything for his son. But Pinocchio was not very nice to his father always. He always promised to be a good boy and will obey his father, and then after a while he forgot all his promises, all his plans. Pinocchio wanted to be a real boy, a real son to his father, and not just only a wooden puppet. He thought that he would go to school, learn reading in a day, writing the next day, and arithmetic on the day after that. He planned to earn a lot of money for his father, Geppetto. Geppetto felt very happy that Pinocchio wanted to go to the school. But he did not have money for it, though it was very cold, but poor Geppetto sold the only coat left with him to get the money for the Pinocchio's school so that he can take the good education in the school. Pinocchio started for the school now. On the way to the school, he saw a puppet show. He forgot all his plans, all his promises to go to the school, and sold his all school books and bought a ticket of that show with that money. When Pinocchio entered the puppet theatre, the puppets on the stage saw him. They were very happy to see their brother over there. They forgot their play and started calling him out. Pinocchio too ran to the stage and hugged them and started jumping and clapping. People who had come to see the play didn't like all this. They began to shout at them. The puppet master too got annoyed. Annoyed means the two got very angry and decided to throw the Pinocchio into the fire. But his puppet friends requested their master not to do like that. But the master was so angry that instead of Pinocchio, he will throw another puppet into the fire. Pinocchio was very good by heart, very good at heart. He was of very good nature. He was sorry for the other puppet. He felt sorry for the other puppets and told the puppet master that he is ready to burn himself into the fire, so please spare the life of his friends, of the other puppets. The puppet master was not a wicked master. He was not very cruel. Wicked master means he was not a cruel master. He let both the puppets go and also gave Pinocchio 5 gold coins for his father Geppetto when he heard the whole story from the Pinocchio. Now, do you think, students, that Pinocchio had given these coins to Geppetto immediately? No, the silly little puppet got into the more and more mischief and into the trouble and due to the gold coins. He was caught by the robber, but a kind fairy saved him from the robbers. Now see what happens when fairy asked Pinocchio about the gold coins. He started lying to her. He lied to her. The moment he lied, his nose grew longer and longer. With his every lie, his nose grew longer and longer. Seeing this, Pinocchio got very much frightened and asked fairy to forgive him and promised never to tell lies again. But Pinocchio did not learn to tell the truth and listen to good advice of his closed ones. So he found himself at the bottom of the sea. And there he was swallowed by a big shark that was 1 mile long. Long means 1 mile in length. Now at last he was very sorry for all the foolish things he had done. However, inside the stomach of the shark, Pinocchio saw a faint light. Faint means the light which is not very clear. When he went near the light, it surprised him as he found Geppetto, his father, over there. Geppetto was very worried about the Pinocchio since he had left the home. He searched him everywhere. He searched him here and there, everywhere. During their search, the shark had swallowed the whole ship on which even Geppetto was traveling. With the great effort and courage, Pinocchio took himself and his father Geppetto out of the shark's stomach and carried Geppetto back to the shore. After that, Pinocchio proved to be a very good boy and worked very hard to help his father Geppetto. When he heard that the fairy was ill, he sent all his money which he had saved for himself. With the joy and amazement, he found himself turned into a real boy. Now, I hope you all have understood the story which I have narrated you all just now. Students, now it's a reading time. Now, please open your textbook, page number 77. We will do the reading part now. Take pencils in your hands for marking the hard words. Wherever I feel like necessary to explain the meaning of the word, I will explain it. Okay, students? So, let's start with the chapter number 35, Pinocchio. Long, long ago, there lived a king. You will say immediately. Underline the word immediately. No, children, you are mistaken. Underline the word mistaken. Once upon a time, there was a piece of wood, a common block of firewood, It was found in the shop of a carpenter. Underline the word carpenter. But whenever he put firewood, it was found in the. But whenever he put his tools to the block to cut it, to carve it, underline the word carve. The meaning of carve, as I explained you all, to make something out of a wood or a stone by cutting carefully into it, or to scrape it. Underline the word scrap. Meaning of scrap means to remove an unwanted covering or a top layer from something. It began to talk. Oh, that hurt. Don't break me, please. Oh, that tickles. Underline the word tickles. Just then, his neighbor, Geppetto, underline the word Geppetto, came in to ask for a piece of wood. Geppetto wanted to make a wooden puppet that could run, underline the word puppet, jump and make its way around in the world. So the carpenter readily gave the piece of wood to Geppetto. Underline the word readily. Geppetto brought the piece home and carved it into a puppet. Underline the word carved. Lovingly. As he had no family, he began to think of the puppet as his son and named him Pinocchio. Underline the word Pinocchio. But Pinocchio was quite a naughty puppet. As soon as Geppetto taught it to walk, he ran out of the hut. He ran so fast that Geppetto could not catch him. A policeman, underline the word policeman, caught him and brought him back to Geppetto. Though Pinocchio was such a naughty puppet, Geppetto loved him dearly. He would do anything for his son. But Pinocchio was not always nice to his mother. He always promised to be a good boy and tell the truth and obey his father. But more often than not, what you mean by more often than not means frequently. But frequently he forgot all his promises. Pinocchio wanted to be a real boy, a real son to his father, and not just a wooden puppet. He meant well, but he was only a little wooden puppet and did silly things he should not have done. You can read about all his antics. What do you mean by antics? Antics means strange behavior. By all his strange behavior in a book called The Adventures, underline the word antics, underline the word adventures of Pinocchio. But here are some of them in short. Pinocchio thought he would go to school, learn reading in a day, writing the next day, and then arithmetic, underline the word arithmetic, on the day after that. Then he planned, underline planned, to earn a lot of money for Geppetto. Geppetto felt very happy that Pinocchio wanted to go to school, but he did not have the money for the school book. Though it was very cold, poor Geppetto sold his only coat to get the money for Pinocchio's school book. Pinocchio started for the school. On the way, he came upon a puppet show. He forgot all about his plans, all about his promises to go to the school. The naughty puppet that he was, he sold his school book and with that money bought a ticket to the show. When Pinocchio entered the puppet theatre, underline the word theatre, the puppets on the stage saw him. They were very happy to see their brother. They forgot their play and began to call out to him. In 2 leaves, underline the word leaves, Pinocchio was on the stage. They all began to hug, underline the word hug, and slap one another on the back, and jump and clap. People who had come to see the play did not like this interruption. Now, what do you mean by interruption? The meaning of interruption is the act of stopping from something happening for a very short period. I repeat, the meaning of interruption means the act of stopping something from happening for a very short period. Underline the word interruption at all. They began to shout. the puppet master was very annoyed. Underline the word annoyed. Annoyed means he got very much angry. He decided to throw Pinocchio into the fire. Pinocchio's puppet friends pleaded. Underline the word pleaded. Pleaded means requested with the puppet master not to do that. Please don't do like that. Then instead of Pinocchio, the puppet master chose another puppet for throwing it to the fire. Now, Pinocchio was really good at heart. He was sorry for all the other puppet. Very gallantly, underline the word gallantly. Gallantly means bravely, very bravely. He told the puppet master that he was ready to burn in the fire himself, and the puppet master should spare the other. Should spare, underline the word spare means leave the other puppet's life. The puppet master was not really a wicked master. Underline the word wicked. Wicked means cruel. He let both the puppets go. Not only that, he also gave Pinocchio 5 gold coins for his old father Geppetto when he heard his story. Now, Pinocchio take these coins to Geppetto immediately. Underline the word immediately. No, the silly little puppet, silly underline, that he got into more and more mischief, underline the word mischief, and trouble due to the coins. A kind fairy saved Pinocchio from the robbers, underline the word robbers, who had caught Pinocchio for the coins. But when the fairy asked the Pinocchio about the coins, he lied to her, underline the word lied. But then a strange thing happened. The moment, underline the word moment, Pinocchio told a lie, his nose grew longer. With every lie, it grew longer and longer. You can see the peak over here. Pinocchio was really frightened. Underline the word frightened. He asked the fairy to forgive him. Underline the word forgive. And promised never to tell lies again. Pinocchio did not learn to tell the truth or listen to the good advice of his friends and his father and the fairy easily. So, at the end of a number of adventures, do you know where he found himself? At the bottom of the sea. And there he was swallowed, underline the word swallowed, by a big shark, underline the word shark. That was 1 mile long. Poor Pinocchio. Now at last he was truly sorry for all the foolish things that he had done. But once you get into a difficulty, underline the word difficulty, it's not very easy to get out of it. However, inside the stomach, underline the word stomach, of the shark, Pinocchio saw a faint light. Faint means not very clear. Means he could not see the light very clear. He could not see the clear light. Underline the word faint. When he went near the light, surprise of surprises, he found Geppetto. Geppetto had been worried about Pinocchio since he had left home. He had searched, underline the word searched, for Pinocchio far and wide. During the search, the shark had swallowed the ship on which Geppetto was traveling, underline the word traveling. With great effort and courage, underline the word courage, Pinocchio took himself and Geppetto out of the shark's stomach. He carried Geppetto back to the shore. After that, Pinocchio really proved, underline the word proved, to be a good boy. He began to work very hard to help Geppetto. When he heard that the fairy was ill, he sent her all the money that he was saving for himself. And then to his joy and amazement, underline amazement, amazement means surprise, he found that he had turned into a real boy, into a very good boy. So here we end this chapter, Wooden Puppet Pinocchio. I hope you all have understood this chapter very well. Thank you students. Stay home, stay safe.